My name's Richard Sala. Just very briefly, before I moved to New Hampshire, I spent 21 years in the Marine Corps. I spent about 10 of those as an infantryman, another 5 as an infantry officer, and then I was selected for the JAG Corps. I spent my last five years as a judge advocate. When I retired, we originally moved to Grafton County. We lived in a small town on New Hampshire Route 118 called Dorchester, not Massachusetts, New Hampshire. And then my first job when I got out was counsel for the commissioner of the Department of Education here in New Hampshire. I left that job to take kind of a bucket list job. I was a professor at a law school where I taught constitutional law and national security law. During that time, I was appointed by Governor Sununu to the State Board of Education. And then I left the law school to go back to the Department of Education, where I serve as the Director of Vocational Rehabilitation. The short version of why I decided to run for school board is after I moved here, I convinced a lot of my family to move here too. And if you'd asked me 6 months ago if I was going to run for school board, I would have told you no. I want to fish and hunt and relax. But as the trajectory of the budget was growing, I realized that I might have brought my family to an untenable situation. And I think the second reason is I don't think we talk about the school budget with enough compassion for all of our community. I hear a lot of people, single income people, fixed income people saying this is hurting us, but the trajectory doesn't seem to be slowing down. Other things that I'm interested in working with on the school board, like to see our kids have more physical education, more physical movement during the day. There's lots of reasons for that. I don't have enough time to go into them. And then the last two is exposure to the arts, which I think is really important. And lastly, beginning to expose our kids in the school system to artificial intelligence, which they will use in the workforce as they continue to grow. Thanks.
Yep, thank you. Hey, Richard, same question for you. What is the one most important strength you will bring to the board if elected?
Yeah, I think it's not that different, actually. I love working with people. It's okay to have different points of view, to bring those points of view to the table. Recognize that you're one person on a 5-person committee. Come with ideas, look at the facts, be willing to concede when your position is not tenable. I've been doing that for a long time, both as an infantry officer when I was negotiating, peace issues in Iraq, as a criminal prosecutor, as general counsel, and then in the education setting, while I was counsel working with superintendents and school board associations and so on.
Thank you. So the next question, Richard, is for you to start. What, if any, changes would you make or suggest for the currently proposed school budget and warrant articles?
Yeah, I think specifically on the school budget, I wouldn't approve it. I would recommend that we don't approve it. I don't think the increase is necessary. I think we could survive on last year's budget. I think that we can have great schools and compassion for our neighbors. And so, that's been my primary focus, but the change would be, I would not recommend an increase to the budget.
What knowledge deficit do you have in relation to sitting on the school board, if any?
It's a good question, but I think, I've never been on a school board. I think just getting to know, you have to get to know people, understand what people's values are. I've been in town for almost 4 years. So, a lot more interaction, I think, with the community and getting to understand, what it is we want to accomplish together. It's been kind of natural course for me over the course of my career to have to learn new things and read and get smart on issues. And I don't find it particularly difficult. So I'm not that worried about it.
Okay, now I know that you get this question first. So what do you bring to the school board that the current composition might be lacking?
I think I would be a voice in the room that is saying we need to lower the budget. At least it's been my experience here that it's very uniform. When we go to talk about the budget, everybody's for it. I don't feel like there's a lot of dissent. I definitely come from a different perspective on this. I don't think we can sustain the increases. I don't think they're necessary. I don't think they're compassionate to everybody in town. And really that's one of the reasons that I'm running is I just want to, again, I'm one person on a 5-person board, but I think I bring a different perspective with regards to fiscal restraint.
SB2, for or against?
Yeah, I'm in favor of SB2 for the same reason that I'm in favor of controlling the budget trajectory, which is just being compassionate for people. People shouldn't have to choose between, like I did last year, have to choose between their kids' hockey playoffs and sitting in town meeting waiting for, to be able to vote. People who are experiencing disabilities shouldn't have to suffer through the whole day. It's a small ask, and the return is very large.
Given the disastrous outcomes from COVID school masking policies, would you support current New Hampshire House Bill HB 360 that prohibits school mask mandates for our children? If not, what are your qualifications for making a decision on masking our school children? Can I just say, as moderator, I didn't love this question because I don't know how on point it is in the current time, but I thought it was a good question in terms of how do you support a school board and how do you make your decisions? So,
yeah,
if that's helpful, Richard.
I think this is a really context-specific kind of question. I mean, I'll just say, let me just start from the beginning. My son has a speech impediment, so masks really disrupted his learning because one of the ways that you improve when you have a speech impediment is to see people's mouths. And it turned out the masks were garbage. It was a lie. I didn't want to say that, but it's true. So it was garbage. And it was unnecessary. But I would not be in favor of a bill uniformly outlawing masks because maybe it's true for something else that we don't even know about yet. And there are people who are more qualified to think about or make recommendations about, things that have to do with public health. Just turns out in the context of COVID, it was rubbish.
Richard, thank you.